The Erickson countdown continues.
Let's not lay down. This is our last game in 1997, but forget it. Let's play this game like this is our very first one. You're only as good as the last game you play in, so let's make this the best.
That was Emmitt Smith making that impassioned plea, but somehow the enthusiasm from the rest of the team didn't match the speech.
Well, and I don't even know that his enthusiasm matched the speech. And look at this crowd here. This crowd doesn't seem to be too enthusiastic right now.
You saw the face of number 40, Bill Bates. This could be the end of a storied career for him. They haven't decided. The Cowboys haven't, and Emmitt hasn't decided. But this is Herschel Walker. Trying to bring it out of the end zone. Breaks one tackle and gets to about the 17-yard line. Here's the Dallas offense led by Troy Aikman. He's been sacked almost as many times this year as he has in the past 2 years. In front of him, a remade offensive line, Allen, Hageman, Shiver, Flannery, and Eric Williams. Emmitt Smith, Herschel Walker, Anthony Miller, Michael Irvin, and David LaFleur, their #1 draft choice from LSU. Aikman. Normally, number 61, Nate Newton, would be in that starting lineup. There he is with Deion Sanders on the sideline. LaFleur goes in motion, and Aikman's back to throw it. And down goes Aikman by Robert Harris on the first play. 32nd time he's been sacked this year. The Giant defensive line, Holsey, Hamilton, Robert Harris, and Strahan, who's had a good year. Miller, Whitmer, and Armstead. The real catalyst of that defense, Jason Sehorn and Tito Wooten. Sam Garnes and Thomas Randolph in place of Sparks make up the secondary. 2nd and 18. 2 tight ends. Broken by Emmitt Smith.
You know, I think you asked, how did the Giants get there? How did the Giants win the Eastern Division? And I think on these first 2 plays they show you, first they get the sack, and then the second thing, they are very tough in there against the run. They hold that point, they get their secondary up, they gang tackle, they strip, they go for the ball, they pursue, they do all those things that great defensive teams have to do.
3rd and 18. Whitmer just met the block by Larry Allen and knocked him backwards, and that doesn't happen very often. Flag on the play.
The Giants are going after the Cowboys. I mean, they sacked Troy Aikman on the first play. They had 9 men up in the line of scrimmage on the second play. They were coming on a safety blitz on this one.
9 on the offense. The 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Eric Williams moved.
Just watch what happened on that previous play. Watch the center here, Pat. Clay Shiver, he just gets knocked right into Emmitt Smith, and that's the thing that the Giant defense has been doing. They've been really stout at the point of attack all day. That was Keith Hamilton taking Clay Shiver and stuffing him right into Emmitt Smith.
3rd and 23. That's not the first time we've seen that happen.
There's big old LaFleur in the backfield, tight end.
Aikman in the end zone gets it out to LaFleur. And LaFleur gets a little room for the punter out to about the 9. Thomas Randolph made the stop.
That was a different type of alignment. When you get a guy 6'7", 280 pounds in the backfield, you know that you better look out for him. He's not going to run the ball.
Monty Toomer, who can be dangerous and is dangerous returning punts. And Toby going back deep for Dallas. A flag on the play. They used too much time.
I think they had some illegal movement, too.
Yep.
Number 52 on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Barry Switzer. A lot of conjecture about this being his last game. He didn't make it to practice yesterday. He was sick.
Yeah, I would expect that this is Barry Switzer's last game as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But this Giant defense is really setting the tone here.
Flag on the play. Good kick. Randolph handles it at about the 48-yard line, so let's see what the flag is. Otherwise, the Giants will take over in pretty good shape. against the Cowboys.
Like I said, the Cowboys are going nowhere fast. They've had a sack. They've had a couple of penalties on this first drive.
Member of the kicking team, number 57, downfield. That's half the distance to the goal. Still 4th down.
I think the Giants are making a good decision here, Pat, by backing them up. I mean, the Cowboys have started out here. They've gone backwards. They've gone backwards. They've gone backwards. You get a penalty. Back them up again. Put that punter all the way against that back line, because punters never feel comfortable when they're in this position here, and they have to watch out for this line, because if they step on that line, that's a safety.
Just something else for them to worry about. And kickers, punters, and kickers, place kickers, are notorious worriers.
All-time great worriers.
Toomer will have a chance to return this one. A good chance. Gets into Cowboy territory. Taken down by Scott Galbraith. So the Cowboys do nothing with their first possession. Nothing the score.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Porsche, who wish to remind you there is no substitute. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Texaco, a world of energy.
That cowboy in search of a Christmas tree found one and axed it down.
And then left the axe.
Yeah.
Where he axed it down. He forgot his axe.
Here's Cannell back to throw on first down. Incomplete. Let's look at the Giant offense now. Unheralded. A lot of question marks about them, but they've gotten the job done. Danny Cannell has a record of 6-2-1 since he took over from Dave Brown. Oben, Bishop, Lance Scott, their 5th offensive center. Ron Stone, Tiki Barber, and Charles Way, who's had an outstanding year. Callaway. That's Way. And the Cowboy defense swarms on him. Let's look at the Cowboys defense. Shante Carver, Leon Lett back. Casillas perhaps playing in his last game, and Tony Tolbert. Those are the group. That's the group who starts. Coakley, Strickland, and Randall Godfrey, the linebackers. They'll shift around out of that alignment. Mathis, Brock Marion, Woodson, and Kevin Smith, the secondary. Deion Sanders, the broken rib, not playing. 3rd and 11.
Giants like this shotgun on 3rd and long. 3 wide receivers and Cannell in a shotgun.
Cannell very comfortable out of the shotgun. The pass is caught by David Patton, and Patton gets down to the 15 before he's knocked out of bounds by Bates.
They work out there, and Kevin Mathis. Now here's Kevin Mathis, and Patton not only beats Mathis and catches the pass, but then Mathis misses the tackle on the play. You see him? He pushes a little. He cuts inside. Now Mathis misses there because he turns, he makes a miss, and then he picks up another 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. You said the key word, Pat, I think, is in the shotgun. Danny Cannell looks a lot more comfortable than he does up in the center.
That's Tiki Barber inside the 15. Well, during the years at Florida State, when he was a quarterback at Florida State, about 80% of the time, I think he told us last night, they were in the shotgun. So he's used to it.
And that's not a bad thing to do, because in today's football, it seems like everyone almost hyperventilates whenever they get that 3rd and real long, and that was a 3rd and 11 that Danny Cannell converted there.
This is about 2nd and 8. And that's Barber again. Bounces off one man. We'll get to about the 10.5. Not enough for a first.
Pretty good hitting down there. You know, with this Giant offense, when they use 2 backs like this, the line doesn't get a heck of a lot of movement. When you take their fullback, Charles Way, and he leads in there, he'll get the movement. And then you get the next back coming in. So you get 3 waves, 3 shots coming at you. One, the offensive line, and then boom, here comes Charles Way. And then the 3rd thing will be the running back. Here's that shotgun again.
Yep. Ricky Barber. And the Giants will settle for 3. Jim Fossil has done a good job of keeping the Giants focused and not becoming all upset because they don't score once they get here. At least let's get 3 out of it.
Well, Jim Fossil has done a great job, and that's part of it. I mean, that's one of the things that he taught Danny Canellis. Once you get in field goal range, try and get a touchdown, but if you don't lose your field goal position.
Right. Daluiso from 28 yards away. And Brad Daluiso's always had a very strong leg, and he's gotten more accurate over the years. The Giants lead 3-0.
You know, the Giants win today, they're going to win 10 games. And you say, how do they do it? To me, these are the 4 things that they did so well. Their rush defense at 92 yards a game. Turnover ratio, that is always big, plus 23. Pass touchdowns allowed, only 10. Defensive sacks, 51. And you look and you say, where does that rate? Look, the rush defense, 3rd in the NFL. That could be one of the biggest things. 1st in turnover ratio, 1st in pass TDs allowed, and then 4th in defensive sacks. And they went from 50 to 51 in this game today. So you say, how did the Giants do it? How did they get here? Those things, to me, are how they got here.
That turnover ratio is something else. Right now, for McDonald's Game Break, let's return to our Fox studios. And here's James Brown.
Pat, Washington needs a victory and some help for the postseason. Triple crown play here by Darryl Pounds on the defense. Forced fumble recovery, 18 yards of pay dirt. 1st minute and 30 seconds of the game. Washington up 7-0 thanks to the defense. Pat Summerall and John Madden.
And Washington, JB, still, as you said, not out of the playoff picture. They need a victory. Nicky Sualua is the blocking back, and that's Emmett Smith. And Emmett down the sideline for about 8 yards. Yesterday we spoke to defensive end Michael Strahan about the way the New York Giants defense sets the tone of the game.
Whenever you go into a game, you can't sit back and wait for a team to do something and react to what they're going to do. You just can't sit back and let them get the first shot on you. I think we have to go out. We have to establish ourselves. We have to run our defense and let them worry about what we can do. Not let them run their offense and let the defense worry about what they're doing to us. And anytime we establish that and we establish it early, it seems to carry over through the entire game.
A penalty tacked on.
Yeah, it was against Jesse Armstead. He hit Emmett Smith out of bounds, and they threw the flag right over there as he did that. Jesse Armstead has been one of the leaders in this Giant defense and one of the leaders in the success they've had.
Here's Emmett Smith. Emmett gets about 3, knocked out of bounds again. Jesse Armstead is from Dallas. How many tickets did he say he had to get? 40?
Yeah, he had 40. He already had the tickets last night. He had them in his pocket, and he was going to give them out. And not only that, but he was going to see his daughter for the first time. Well, no, he was here when his daughter was born, Jessica, and then he left right after the birth, and then this was going to be the first time he was going to see her.
That was back on November 25th. So a dual-purpose visit. This is Emmett Smith again. Emmett gets into Giant territory. Stopped by Keith Hamilton.
And the other thing is Tito Wooten was up there. And again, you know, we talk about 8-man fronts and 9-man fronts and how tough it is. You know, it used to be that you'd only run against a 7-man front. That would be the front 4 linemen and the 3 linebackers. And the secondary, the 4 defensive backs would take care of the pass. But now, if they want to add to stop the run, then they bring that 8th man up. In that case, it was Tito Wooten. So you're going to have an extra man defending against the run.
Aikman. 1 back set. Aikman back to throw, and down he goes. Sacked for the 2nd time today. This time by Bernard Holsey.
Yeah, Bernard Holsey fell into that one.
Yep.
You're going to see the penetration comes right up the middle. These are the guys that have really been pretty good. Harris and Hamilton in the middle. And they get a push up the middle, you see. And that flushes right there. That flushes Aikman. Now he has to come up, and that lets Halsey come in from the side. But it was a push up the middle, plus Michael Strahan from the other side that really got that sack.
Goins' kick is a dandy. Monty Toomer will fair catch it at the 11. Aikman heads to the sideline. 3-0, the Giants lead. At Texas Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden. The Giants leading the Cowboys 3-0. Still in the first quarter. Giants ball at their own 12-yard line. Danny Cannell under the center. To Barber. Well, if you understand the playoff picture, and there always seems to be another possibility that comes up when you start running it down, the top 3 are in. And who else makes it depends on what happens today.
Really, Tampa Bay is in also, but
yeah,
they have to win. If they win today, then they'll be a host next week. Washington needs a win, but they also need a loss by Minnesota or Detroit, and they're getting a loss by Minnesota right now.
Pass from Cannell to Charles way out of the backfield.
The Giants have to be comfortable about their feeling. Jim Fossil was talking about it last night. They don't know if they're going to play on Saturday or Sunday, and he said he would like to know that as soon as possible.
And they don't know if they're going to play early or late. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions about who and where and what time.
Yeah, and maybe that's the biggest thing. Who are they going to play?
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot more important than, you know, whether it's Saturday or Sunday to them.
Tiki Barber will get a first down for the Giants.
You know, these are the things that the Giants do well. They do the little things well. I mean, they're calm out there, and I think this is their coach, Jim Fossil.
Yep.
And they play smart football. They don't take a lot of risks or a lot of chances because they know they have an aggressive, outstanding defense.
You know, you were talking about something yesterday, and we talked about it before, about the good players coming out of the University of Virginia. Now, both of their running backs, Way and Barber, are from the University of Virginia. This is Barber.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that they did there, Pat, where you were talking about the two backs, Way blocking for Barber. Usually, you used to key wherever the fullback is. You'd say, okay, here's the fullback. He's going to be the lead block, so he's going to come to this side. Not so. They take the lead block, and instead of leading this way, they lead over on this side and then come over to the left. So that key of the fullback that brings the safety, and then you can go against him. Now watch Charles Way. See, he comes over, instead of leading to the right, he leads to the left. Boom, he gets a block right there on Coakley.
Yep.
That opens the hole for Tiki Barber.
And that was the key block.
Right, but it also took the defensive key away from the Cowboys, because they were trying to bring up on that other side. They were trying to bring Darren Woodson up on that other side, so they got away from him.
It's amazing how those things evolve. Remember the old counter tray that the Redskins used to run when they pulled the guard and the tackle from the other side? And now it's the fullback who's leading the play, as they just did. So Barber again. Rodney Hampton, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, Rodney Hampton sneaked in there on that play, and that's what Jim Fossil told us last night, that, you know, Rodney Hampton really played for the first time last week, and he said he wants to get him some playing time today, and he wants to get him some playing time early. In fact, he said he'll be the first substitute that he puts in today.
I just got a feeling if the Giants do go anywhere in the playoffs, Rodney Hampton's going to be a big key to it.
If the Giants are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, they have to be like ever. They have to be able to run and stop the run.
Short gain. Aaron Pierce made the reception.
Well, you're right. I think you know, you think of the Giants and, you know, and playing their playoff game, it's going to be in the Meadowlands in New York, and
yep.
And, you know, you think of all the great games they have had there and the cold weather, and it's going to be that type of thing. Then if they win that game, they're probably going to have to go to Green Bay and then play at Green Bay. Now you're talking football. Giants, Green Bay, Giants in the Meadowlands, run, stop the run, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, you think about all the great games that are in our memory of Giant Stadium. 3, Dallas nothing. That was a Dallas timeout just called. The Giants had lined up with 4 wide receivers. And you know, the Giants, with their injuries and people they're resting and what have you, they just barely got enough people to dress to the full player limit.
In fact, Jim Fossil said they may be 1 player short today.
Here's Cannell out of the shotgun. Pass is juggled and dropped by Kevin Alexander. And the Giants will have to punt.
And that's one of those passes for no yards that I've never understood. You got 4 wide receivers out there. You have to get them up the field. And when you do that and you throw a pass for none yards, even had he caught that pass, he would have been tackled, and the Giants would still have to punt.
Brad Maynard back to punt. And Kevin Mathis back deep for Dallas. It has not been a particularly good year for Maynard. Mathis to about the 32. Wednesday, it's the last international showdown before the Olympics as skating's elite meet to crown a champion. Don't miss Elvis Stoico as he heads the class of some of the world's best skaters. It's the Prime Star Skate International Champions Finals, and it all starts Wednesday at 8 and Pacific on Fox. 8 o'clock, both places.
You know, one of the good matchups today, Pat, is right here. Michael Strahan against Eric Williams. They have a real battle every time they play.
Pass is batted up in the air. Incomplete. He was funny talking about, you were talking about Strahan and Eric Williams talking about the Cobra move.
Yeah, he says he has a Cobra move where he just backs up and then he puts his hand straight up above his head and brings his whole 330 pounds down on you. And he says if he ever gets you with that, he said you need a chiropractor the next day.
But if he ever misses,
then you get a shot at quarterback. Yeah. And that's what he's hoping for.
LaFleur
hoping to miss.
LaFleur is the man in motion. That's Emmett Smith. Stopped by Corey Whitmer. Michael Irvin, who is always the cheerleader, a cheerleader on the sideline, has been ranting and raving over on the bench ever since the game started.
Yeah, but if they don't start blocking someone and and running harder and do those kinds of things, you can rant and rave all you want, but you got to play. And right now the Dallas Cowboys aren't playing because they aren't winning this battle up in the line.
3-man front for the Giants now. Stepford Williams, the man on the move, and here's Aikman back to throw it. Gets it outside.
I think Eric Williams just got a Cobra on Michael Strahan, Pat.
Anthony Miller. Well, let's go back and look.
Yeah, and Strahan went right to the official. Here's Michael Strahan. Here's Eric Williams. And you watch, he's going to get, Eric Williams is going to get Strahan right up under the neck. You see him? Right there. And he's going to lift him up, and then he's going to take him and just pound him to the ground. And then he's going to try and take that shot and put him on him. But that's a Cobra right there. Michael Strahan went right to the referee on that one.
As soon as he got free of Eric Williams.
That is no fun.
No. Goins punt off the side of his foot, takes a giant bounce. The Cowboys down it at about the 39-yard line. Playoffs start next weekend. The Giants, of course, the NFC East champions. But you should check your local listings for the game and time in your area, because we don't know where we go. We just know we'll be doing a game somewhere next weekend.
Look at Eric Williams. He's going over there to the sideline, man. He's showing him. He's telling Nate Newton, he said, I got him right up under the throat, and he said, I put him right on the ground. Nate's patting him in the head and saying, that's the way to go.
Rodney Hampton, the running back, and Cannell back to throw it. Just does get rid of it. Has a man wide open. It's Chris Callaway. And Callaway out of bounds at the 20 by Kevin Smith.
This is the thing that's really impressed me about Danny Cannell is how comfortable he looked. Remember, we did a game earlier against the Detroit Lions, and just how he goes back there and looks comfortable. I mean, here he's going to have Chris Callaway. He starts on the right side. Now this is what we call a crossing pattern. He starts across and just keeps coming across the field, and at some point he's going to be open, and at that point Cannell is going to hit him. But watch how comfortable Danny Cannell is. He gets a little play pass there. He steps up in the pocket, finds Callaway, and hits him perfectly.
Here's Cannell back to throw it again. Screen pass called, juggled, and dropped by Charles Way. Was pretty well set.
You know, if there's anything that Danny Cannell seems to be having trouble with, it's those short passes.
Yeah.
That was a poor pass that he threw to Charles Way. And remember the last time they were down here in that third down pass, he threw one behind Tiki Barber.
Yeah.
Seems to be better and more comfortable throwing the ball up the field.
When he gets a chance to step into it.
Yeah, those little things behind the line are really, you know, touch passes, and the touch passes are the toughest ones to throw.
Doesn't look like it, but that's very true. Cannell gives to Way, and Way is taken down by Leon Lett.
There's another thing. If you're going to run against this Dallas Cowboy defense, you better get Leon Lett blocked. Now they're trying to run away from Leon Lett, but that's why they call him the Big Cat, because he can still get going and stretch out and get you.
You better get him blocked, but how do you accomplish that task?
Now, the thing is you have to block back on him. You have to bring your center back on him when you go away. You don't like to do that, but you have to give up that. And then when he goes out like this to rest, then you run where he lined up.
Leon, of course, has the fresh legs. He just played 2 games. This is his third. Here's Cannell looking and throwing, and touchdown. Chris Callaway.
And again, the comfort of being in that shotgun, good pass protection. This offensive line taking care of that defense. There's a 3-man line, but watch the protection here. You got the 3-man line. Watch Cannell. He just stands back there and looks, finds Callaway, and just throws him a perfect pass.
Perfect throw.
Good protection. Look, there was no one around him. Now watch what Callaway does is a stop and go.
Yep.
He runs, and like he's going to run a hook, he stops, and then he goes right through the defense.
And they took the bite.
And very effective in that shotgun today.
Danny Wiesow's extra point is good, and the Giants lead the Cowboys 10-0. 31 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That scoring drive, 4 plays, 61 yards. Pass completion to Callaway. Set it up, and a touchdown pass.
Now that was a heck of a move by Callaway when he gave that little stop and go. And when he gave that stop, then Danny Cannell gave the pump also. So that held the defense, and then Chris Callaway was able to get in behind him.
Danny Wiessow to kick it off. Herschel Walker watches it bound through the end zone. And so the Cowboys will start at the 20-yard line. 10-0 Giants.
Yeah, we can look at it here, Pat, and we see down below, we see Danny Cannell, and we're going to see up on top, we're going to see Chris Callaway. And you can see as he stops and he gets the pump right there. Cannell pumps when Callaway stopped, and then Callaway takes off again, and Danny Cannell hits him perfectly.
In sync.
They were in sync.
Yes, they were.
You know, and the thing that we talked about earlier, that having momentum and peaking going into the playoffs and confidence, the Giants are doing all those things in this first quarter.
Here's Aikman. Pass is batted down, intended for Anthony Miller.
You know, Jason Sehorn is playing the other side. You know, Michael Irvin hasn't caught a pass yet, but Jason Sehorn is going wherever Michael Irvin goes, and then Thomas Randolph will be on that other side. So that was Thomas Randolph there against Anthony Miller. But we talk about guys that have played well and done well for this Giant defense. This guy right here, Jason Sehorn, he has really been something special.
He comes over him. He comes over again with Michael Irvin. There's a little Nicky Sualua.
Jesse Armstead. And Eric Williams said he's had enough of that. Jesse Armstead is a fiery guy, though, and and I think that's one ingredient the Giant defense had lost since Lawrence Taylor, and they finally got it back in Jesse Armstead. Look at this, all the way down the field, Eric Williams and Jesse Armstead were going after it. And then the peacemaker there, he comes out on the field. He's going to take care of the thing.
That, of course, is Deion Sanders. Here's Aikman back to throw. He complete intended for Miller. A little bit behind him.
You know, isn't this something, Pat? After the first quarter, listen to this. The Giants passing yards, they have 101 yards passing. The Cowboys have a donut. The Cowboys have nothing passing.
And they'll punt again.
And again, that's partly because the Cowboys aren't very good, but it's partly because the Giant defense has really taken control of the first part of this game.
Toby Goin will punt. Amani Toomer back deep for the Giants. Goin's kick's a good one. Toomer has a chance to return it. Got a blocker in front. Two blockers in front. Shakes a couple of tackles. A good return by Amani Toomer, finally taken out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 14:41 left to play in the second quarter at Texas Stadium, and the Giants lead it 10-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. By the U.S. Army, be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. By Wheaties, the breakfast of champions. And by DVD video from Philips Magnavox, technology for the heart, the spirit, and the imagination.
Our Christmas hero dressed like a bandit got his tree. Here's Cannell. Flag on the play for Callaway. Flag back deep in the Giant backfield, and it's signaled preliminary to be against the Giants.
Remember the last time the Giants and the Cowboys played and Kevin Smith had
Number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Greg Bishop is number 78. Second quarter just beginning.
I was just saying, remember last game, and it was Kevin Smith had some holding penalties against Chris Callaway, and he said, why in the heck would I have to hold him? I can run a 4-3 or 4-4. He can't get away from me, and I don't have to hold a guy like Chris Callaway. So Chris Callaway said, I'd like to catch a couple more against this guy.
Charles Way. Flag on the play. The ball came loose. Way was out of bounds. Charles Way has really developed as far as running with it. He's always been a fine blocker, but all of a sudden he emerged as a pretty good runner.
You know, did he jump in a pond or something? Did you see Charles Way coming across? He came out of there wet. He went in. I know. I watched him leave here. He left here dry and came out wet. I'm not sure where the heck he went, but somewhere he got wet. Look at his helmet. Look at his jersey.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of water on the sideline because of the torrential rains of yesterday.
Yeah, but you look, I mean, here's the last time I saw him. Now, right now, Charles Way is dry.
You see the water came out?
Yep. And it was when you just put your head into that turf. The water's in the turf, isn't it?
Yep.
Look at that. He's dry. There comes the ball out, and his head goes right into that turf. Holy moly. 2 Giant penalties in a row.
Yep. Here's Tiki Barber. Going to get some of it back. And he goes out of bounds. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Pat, not many balls thrown Darrell Green's way. This one is as Hoying throws behind Christy Jones. Green with the pick and roll. He takes it 83 yards. Longest return for a score in his career. First pick in 25 games. Washington up by 14, but the Skins need a loss by the Vikings or the Lions to make it to the postseason. Vikings on top right now. Pat and John.
2nd and 17 for the Giants at Texas Stadium. And Danny Cannell back to throw it. Screen pass coming. Barber, the intended receiver, incomplete. Juggled it. Key statistics in this game so far. I guess you'd have to say 3 and outs. 3 by the Cowboys, none by the Giants. Passing yards, look at the difference.
Yeah, and you know, and the Cowboys have to be a passing team. I mean, when you have Troy Aikman and you have Michael Irvin, you can't play a quarter of football and have 0 yards passing. I mean, this is the NFL, and you have to be able to throw the ball in the NFL, and having 0 yards is embarrassing. The way they're playing is embarrassing.
4 wide receivers. Barber gets away from 1 tackler, but is taken down by Kevin Mathis, and the Giants will have to punt.
When the Giants do that, you see what happened is they had a couple of penalties, and that put them 20 yards back. So instead of opening up and trying to get those 20, they just played it safe. Now, this is the way Jim Fossil has taught Danny Cannell to play. Just play safe. Don't do anything stupid. We'll punt. The worst thing that can happen is we'll have to punt and let our defense play, and that's not bad.
Brad Maynard back to punt. Kevin Mathis from his 13-yard line. Mathis gets out to about the 24. Stopped by Lance Scott. I wonder which one of those is Rudolph. (10-0) Giants over Dallas. Texas Stadium. Look at the record this season and the point differential that goes with it. 6-0-1. They're trying, of course, to become the first team to go undefeated. They do have a tie in the NFC East competition. And that's some accomplishment. And when you reflect on it, think about all the good teams over the years, Dallas and the great Giant teams back in the late 80s. None of them, don't want to leave out the Redskins either, none of them went undefeated in their own division.
And the way they got there, I mean, they have, you know, differential points and stuff, but it's this group right here.
Yep.
And, you know, we showed that the Cowboys have 0 yards passing, but they aren't running very well either, because these guys get all over the field in their pursuit and gang tackling.
Aikman back to throw. Yet to complete a pass. Michael Irvin. Incomplete.
Yep. Michael Irvin was man-to-man. That's what they look for. They came on a safety blitz that time. Jason Sehorn, as we said, is going everywhere Michael Irvin goes. So he knows that when you see this, he's man-to-man. Not only here is he man-to-man, but he has no help because of the blitz. He gets his left hand on him. Michael Irvin gets his right hand on him. And you see Sehorn looks back for the ball, sees the ball is over his head, doesn't touch Michael Irvin anymore. This guy has turned into one of the top corners in the league.
Aikman back to throw. A Giant lineman came loose. It's intended for Anthony Miller.
And that Giant lineman is Keith Hamilton. Right. He's really raising havoc in there because you just see him get the penetration. Here's Keith Hamilton here. And watch, he's going to get right here where Troy Aikman is trying to step up to. And the thing, you can't have any penetration coming right at your quarterback. You see it there? So Troy Aikman couldn't step with that left foot. The left foot went parallel, and he couldn't get anything on the ball.
So Toby going back to punt again. Good high kick this time. Money Truman chases him back. Signals fair catch, and the Giants will take over at their own 25. 12-11 left to play in the first half. 10-0. The playmaker, Michael Irvin, obviously very upset.
Well, he's frustrated, and again, he's frustrated because the Giants are doing a great job on defense, not only on him, but on the whole team. They're stopping the run, they're rushing the passer, they're harassing Troy Aikman, they're covering him, they're doing everything a good defense has to do.
Tiki Barber behind Way's block. Barber, first down Giants. Dexter Coakley came over to make the stop.
Good run by Tiki Barber. You see how when you run a sweep, you have to be a little patient because you're going to get out there and you have to wait for your blockers. You see, he's going to take a little counter here. Way is going to lead him right here, so he has to wait, let that stuff develop, and then he can make his cut. If he takes it too quickly, then he's going to take it before his blockers get in position to make a lane for him.
1st and 10 at the Giant 37. That's Way. Way only gets back to the line of scrimmage. Our Aflac trivia question for this week. Who were the other 2 New York Giants head coaches to finish first in their first season? I played for one of them.
And as an old Giant, I was going to say, you know the Giants and the coaches and the history. Of course, Jim Fossil here is the guy who did it, and did an amazing job this year.
Here's Cannell. Waits, throws, complete.
Well, we talked about the patience of Tiki Barber on the run. How about the patience there of Danny Cannell?
To David Patton.
He just waited for Patton to get open, because that's a zone defense. And watch what Patton has to go through here. I mean, Patton is going to come in here, and you're going to see the outside receiver, and you see there are 3 Cowboys there. He has to run right past that group of 3 Cowboys before he gets to the other one. And look what Danny Cannell has to get through. He has to get through 2 defensive linemen before he gets to those 4 defensive backs.
I think Leon Lett got a piece of it, and he still completed it. The pump fake intended for David Patton again, who thinks there was pass interference, and there comes the flag.
Yeah, that could have been a touchdown, because Kenny Wheaton, he beat Kenny Wheaton on that, and he was past him.
That's going to be called, and they'll move the sticks again.
Number 30 on the defense.
Bernie Kukar
5-yard penalty.
is the referee.
Kenny Wheaton is right out here, and you can see that he's really playing off. He's playing off deep on this side, and you see he's looking in at the quarterback, and then that was going to be a slant and go. Wheaton goes for the slant and the pump fake, as Patton just goes right by him.
Here's Barber. Line of scrimmage.
And they were lucky that was just a holding penalty, because if the ball was in the air when Wheaton did that, then that would have to be a pass interference penalty. So they had to say that he put his arm out with the pump before the ball was in the air, so therefore it's just defensive holding. You wonder why the flag came out so late on that one. Everyone had to see that.
Second down, 9.5. Cannell, complete. Dropped it into Chris Callaway, who was hit just as the ball arrived.
You know, they're doing a good job on Leon Lett. What they're doing is they're taking Lance Scott and Greg Bishop.
Yeah.
They're taking their center C here, and they're doubling him, because this is the guy that you have to, if you're going to step up and block, you have to get Leon Lett blocked. So Bishop takes the outside, Scott takes the inside. You see right there? And they handle him, and they keep Leon Lett right on or near the line of scrimmage, so Danny Cannell has that time to throw it. That's pretty good. I mean, you have to do those kinds of things if you're a smart team. 2 tight ends set up this time. That's Way banging down to about the 14.5. 8:40 left to play in the first half. The Giants already lead at 10-0. You know, you talk about being disappointed and being frustrated. I think that those eyes of Michael Irvin tell the stories of the story of the Dallas Cowboys this year.
Well, you can be frustrated, and there can be a tear in your cheek, but you got to do something too. Remember that Aflac trivia question? Jim Fossil, of course, has accomplished this. Who are the other 2 Giant head coaches to finish first in their first season? Fossil did it. Allie Sherman did it in 1962. And Earl Pottinger did it in 1927. I didn't play for him.
I don't remember Earl Pottinger. I don't know how long you think old Earl coached the Giants?
Well, Steve Owen took over pretty early in the 30s.
Yeah, I don't think Pottinger is a big name. I don't think Pottinger coached for a long time.
I don't think he did either.
But he did good in his first year.
Yeah. Here's Cannell. Throws it away. Stay focused.
I think that's the thing that we're talking about. Third down there, Danny Cannell. That was good coverage by the Cowboys secondary. Danny Cannell again knew he's in field goal position. Don't lose field goal position. Don't take a sack back there. Don't throw an interception. The worst thing that can happen, throw it away, and we'll try the field goal.
It all boils down to don't beat yourself.
Which boils down to play smart football.
Yeah.
And I think from day one, that's the thing that Jim Fossil preached.
And he has stayed focused on that. Now you saw. From 42 yards out, plenty of distance and good. And it's 13-0. The Giants over the Cowboys. Everything going right for the men in blue, dark blue. The Giants 13, Dallas nothing. Happy holidays from us as well.
The Giants thus far have done everything right, and the Cowboys haven't done one thing right.
Eloiso to kick off. Herschel Walker back with Brock Marion, and this is Brock Marion. Brock Marion's out to the 35. Nothing like a little steam off the top of the head.
You know, we talk about the things that the Cowboys haven't done right, Pat. Look at this. They've punted 5 times already. They only have 1 first down. They only have 2 pass completions. Their net pass yards are 0, and they've only rushed for 17 yards.
That's not going to get you any playoff awards. Statistics like that.
That's not going to get you anything except being home for Christmas.
That's right. Here's Aikman back to throw. Emmett Smith.
The one battle that's been going on the whole time, though, is this Eric Williams and Michael Strahan. Just let's look at some of them here. I mean, that's the one that we remember. I mean, he tried to put Michael Strahan away on that play.
And again.
But no, he's trying every play. I mean, they're just mauling each other.
It's a major collision on every play. They're letting them play, aren't they? This is Emmett.
You know, Michael Strahan is a battler, and I remember a couple of weeks ago, Eric Williams was talking about the toughest guys that he plays against, and of course he mentions Reggie White. And you know, Eric Williams is from Philadelphia, and he grew up, you know, admiring Reggie White. But he also mentions Michael Strahan.
Yep.
That Michael Strahan is one of the toughest guys that he plays against, and that's been one of the real good battles within today's not so good battle.
3rd and 9. Stepford Williams goes in motion. Aikman back to throw. The blitz coming. Aikman gets it to Anthony Miller. And Miller. Aikman read the blitz, and so did Miller.
They sure did. They didn't block Michael Strahan at all on that time because they have to come down to get the blitz. Strahan gets free, but Aikman gets rid of the ball. What Strahan has a free shot at him, but Aikman, because of the blitz, was able to get rid of the ball and get it to Anthony Miller. That's why Troy Aikman is Troy Aikman. I mean, he knows that he has that pressure, and he knows that there's a free man coming on him, but he keeps concentrating on number 83.
LaFleur in motion or on the move. Flag on the play as Aikman fires deep. Miller makes the catch and bounces into the end zone. I don't believe he got into the end zone. But there's a flag on the play. Excuse me.
Remember, Troy Aikman said that yesterday. He said, if we're going to win, he said, if we're going to do anything on offense, he said, Anthony Miller has to make some big plays for us. Yes, Anthony Miller made a big play on that one. Troy Aikman made a big play on that one, but the penalty is against him.
Illegal shift On the offense, the man in motion and the wide man were moving at the same time. The 5-yard penalty, still first down.
What that rule is, you can only have one man in motion. You see, and if you have a man in motion, that's legal, but no one else can be moving. See, they can't be moving there. And that's what it was. You see, they got the motion here, and now they had another person moving. Although I don't see the other person moving.
That is close.
That was awfully close, because you can have as many shifts as you want to, as long as they set for a second. But you can only have one guy in motion when the ball snaps.
First and 15, Aikman back again. Pass is almost intercepted by Sehorn. It is intercepted by Jason Sehorn.
Jason Sehorn gets another one. He's the guy. They put him on Michael Irvin.
Flag on the play. That's also against the Cowboys.
Michael Irvin, the playmaker.
Illegal use of hands. Number 79 on the offense. Hands to the face.
Eric Williams.
Penalty is declined.
Yeah, this is a matchup that we've been watching right here, and they finally got him the hands to the face. You see right there, he's okay. I don't know, there it is right there. It's that right hand to Strahan's face. Although Strahan is pushing Eric Williams right back into Troy Aikman.
Here's Sehorn's interception.
He's playing from the outside in. You see, he plays outside, and then when Michael Irvin makes his cut, Jason Sehorn cuts underneath him. I mean, Jason Sehorn is a heck of a cornerback. He's a very smart player, good speed. That's his 6th interception.
That's Rodney Hampton running straight ahead.
But those are the things that the Giants do so well. You know, you make a couple of plays on them. You're going to do it, but you don't score touchdowns. And then if you do something wrong, if you do the least, I mean, you throw a little short or something, boom, they're going to pick it off. You know, you don't handle the ball right, they're going to cause a fumble. They're going to do those things to you.
2nd and 2. Hampton got 8. He'll get another crack at it. Rodney Hampton hammers across midfield. Randall Godfrey made the stop, but Hampton gets a first down.
It's kind of like the old days of the Giants, isn't it, where they just take Rodney Hampton. Rodney Hampton was never a great outside runner, but I mean, he's a tailback type, but he's a big tailback type. I mean, he's like 245 pounds and, you know, has good speed, but just runs between the tackles with some quickness and a heck of a lot of power.
And it's Hampton again. This time shy of the line of scrimmage by about a yard.
Jim Fossil was saying last night that he was going to do two things. He was going to get Rodney Hampton into the game early, and he was going to give him a lot of carries.
And he's done both.
We saw Rodney Hampton's family here last night. So his mother was there at the hotel, and then his teacher, his high school teacher, and her husband were at the game again.
2nd and 11. Hampton on the move, in motion. Canal back to throw. Incomplete. Under pressure, Howard Cross was the intended receiver.
Yeah, one of the things that we expect is to see Dave Brown at quarterback in this game, and Jim Fossil was saying that you never know an ideal situation. You probably never have an ideal situation. So what he'd like to do is get Dave Brown in maybe a little in the first half, you know, the last couple of minutes of the first half, and then play him the entire second half.
4:19 left to play in the first half. So Dave Brown should be making an appearance before too much longer. Cannell out of the shotgun. Cowboys blitz. They pick it up. Flag on the play. Pass is incomplete.
Yeah, that's going to be against Kevin Smith.
Amani Toomer was the receiver, excuse me.
Yeah, Amani Toomer was a receiver. Kevin Smith got his hands on him too early before the ball got there. That's pass interference against Kevin Smith.
Pass interference, number 26 on the defense. That's a first down.
Amani Toomer has him here. You see it's man-to-man here, and he's going to get him on the post. You see, he gets a good release. He gets inside. Right now, Danny Cannell sees this, that it's open. There's no safety in there. He can just lead him out there. Kevin Smith, watch his right arm right there. You see the right arm grabbed Amani Toomer's right arm, and that was before the ball got there.
35-yard penalty. Charles Way hammers down to about the 10.5. A little extra. recreation going on.
What's going on down there? A rumble?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, then play hard from the time the ball snapped till the whistle blows. You know, Monty Toomer's from De La Salle High School in California.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they set the record. They've won the most games of any high school in the history of high school football.
Consecutive or?
Consecutive games, yeah. De La Salle High School. It's in Concord, California.
It's Hampton to about the 5.5, 6 maybe.
You know, the Giants do a lot of great things with Charles Way. You know, we know that they run, we know that they throw it to him, but as a blocker in different types of blocks. You know, he started that time, and they move him around. He started at that time and kind of made like a trap block. I mean, he's going to lead in here. You see, here he is right here, and he's going to lead Hampton to make the block in here. You know, usually you think of a fullback making outside blocks, but watch him come in there. In fact, he had the tackle, and the tackle ran right by him.
Yep. Two tight ends. And Rodney Hampton gets to the 5. Maybe the ball came loose. Whatever, it's not ruled a fumble.
I think they were signaling first down because the Giants right here can get a first down. So that's a first goal. That's what Rodney Hampton is saying, is he got the first down. They were trying to get the first down. Then they get a new set of downs here.
And now they're going to measure, and so it gives Cannell a chance to come over and visit with Jim Fossil.
And I think if the Giants do, game of inches, the Giants do have a first down here. Again, I think if they score here, that we will see Dave Brown the next time the Giants get the ball.
Jim Fossil had 2 of his sons here last night who came to the meeting when we were talking with him.
Yeah, one of them, John, was standing right behind him. The last picture I saw of Jim Fossil. He's a junior quarterback at Weber State out in Utah. This is a good down for play pass.
Give it to Way. Way gets down to about the 2. There's Dave Brown. Won't be this half, I don't think.
Well, I think if they get a score here and get the ball back in this half, it could possibly be this half.
Going to get the 2-minute warning first.
But I don't know that Jim Fossil wants to make this a very long game. I think he would like to do everything he can to shorten this game.
Yep. Which means a lot of running and not much throwing, and keep that clock running. 13-0. Giants lead. 13-0. The Giants over the Cowboys. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Every game's a big game if you play against the Dallas Cowboys, and you want to win that game more than any other.
Well, you know, the Giants have been on the other side for a long time against these Cowboys.
Hampton gets it close.
Manny Cannell handed off and then ran back and signaled touchdown, but that didn't do any good, did it?
No. He's wearing the wrong color shirt for that.
You know, it's where the ball is, and of course the ball has to break the plane. You can see how far the Giants have to go.
Well, you look at Tony Tolbert trying to get up. He is playing on 2 very, very bad knees. You wonder.
The Giants are going quickly here. Cowboys had to take time out.
So that Dallas only has 1 timeout left in the first half. The Cowboys still haven't got all their troops in place. There's Tony Tolbert.
Yeah, he's having trouble, as you said, with both those knees. He's having trouble bending those knees.
Hampton made it look easy.
Oh, Rodney Hampton still knows how to do that, doesn't he?
Get it in the end zone. 49th career rushing touchdown.
There's Rodney's family up there. We talked about all the people Jesse Armstead had. Rodney Hampton does, too. And see them all stand up for Rodney. You know, it's good to see that. I mean, you remember Rodney Hampton, the way he used to run, and then injuries kind of put him down for a while. But he was always a bright-eyed guy. I mean, he was always a guy that was happy and, you know, and kind of fun to be around. And a good guy, and you like to see him come back, and doggone the Giants come back, and Rodney Hampton come back with him at the end of this season.
That's a new Giant record for rushing touchdowns. Rodney Hampton breaks the record, which had been held by Joe Morris and Rodney Hampton, but that was number 49 right there, and that's a new record. Again, we too wish you happy holiday season.
Those are Santa's elves there, and they're getting ready. They have today off. Santa gave them today off because they got a busy week next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course Thursday being Christmas. Then they'll really be up to their eyes in it.
You wouldn't think they'd get a day off. This close to Christmas, I know why. Yeah, but there's a lot of work to do.
Well, Santa says let them all have a day off because football's being played and we got to be around it.
Ho, ho, ho.
That's what Santa says.
Herschel Walker to his 20-yard line. Don't forget, coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report, J.B., Terry, Howie, and Ronnie. They'll bring you scores and highlights from around the league. Also, our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report.
The Cowboys started to look like they were going to get something going the last time they had the ball. They got the ball to Anthony Miller. They got that big one down there. They had an illegal motion, but they were moving the ball a little.
Aikman back to throw. To Anthony Miller.
See how these Giant guys just fly around? I mean that's the thing, that it's like, you know, syrup or something drawn flies. They just boom, they just all get to the ball.
Flag on the play. The pass complete to Emmitt Smith.
I think that's going to be the battle we've been watching, Pat. I think that's going to be against Eric Williams again. That hands to the face. That'll be the second time that they got him on Michael Strahan. I think Strahan was smart enough after he got it the first couple times to tell the referee about it.
Illegal use of hands. Number 79 on the offense. Hands to the face. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the second of those. Tony Hudson, by the way, is playing left guard.
And now watch, you see the first contact is pretty good, and then he gets that right hand up there. He finished him off. The finish off is pretty good. It was that middle, but watch the other side. Larry Allen, the other tackle on the left side, he's doing the same thing. I mean, they get him up there on the shoulder pass. It's all right.
Aikman throws complete.
What they're getting,
Brett Williams, excuse me.
No, I was just saying what they're getting Eric Williams for is that hand that second time when he puts it up there and just leaves it on the face.
Aikman hurrying up. 20-0. That's Emmitt Smith, who slipped down at the line of scrimmage, or maybe a little short of it.
I'll tell you, every time there's a play over, there's a extracurricular skirmish between Strahan and Eric Williams. You know, we knew that they were going to go after each other, and they went after each other this whole day. Eric Williams got his guy, and he's going to take him wherever he goes. Eric Williams and Michael Strahan are making a street fight out of this thing.
And that's been going on, as you said, from the beginning of this game, which is led by the Giants at the half at Texas Stadium. It's the Giants 20 and the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
Any reaction you guys want on the Giants? Giants.
You think the Dallas Cowboys are mellowing, and one guy that's not. Watch the second half. It is a war over there with Eric Williams. He is mauling anybody that lines up in front of him. One guy's not mailing Eric Williams.
Michael Irvin's not doing the same. I mean, Michael Irvin's doing the same thing. He's out there getting the job done.
All right, then they'll certainly stand them in good stead at the end of the season.
A lot of love on this show.
A lot of love on this show. Holiday spirit by these guys. Second half of Dockers halftime continues after this.
Happy holidays from Texas Stadium. 20-0. The Giants shutting out Dallas. Doing it on the scoreboard. They're doing it statistically as well. Here's the first half stats, and it's pretty one-sided.
Well, if you look at the rush yards, the Giants have 86. The Cowboys only run for 18 yards in the first half. Pass yards, the Cowboys only threw for 45 yards. The Giants for 129. Look at this. The Giants have 13 first downs. The Cowboys only have 2. Of course, turnovers is, you're just 1, and the Giants got 7 points off a Dallas Cowboy turnover. And the other thing is the Giants had the ball for over 18 minutes. The Cowboys for over 11 minutes. So they just kind of took over. And the thing, when you play the Cowboys with your defense, you have to stop the triplets. I mean, these are the 3 guys that you have to stop. And look what they've done. Troy Aikman is 5 out of 12 for 58 yards, and he's thrown an interception. Emmitt Smith has run the ball 9 times for 18 yards. Now, that's not Emmitt Smith, but again, that's not the offensive line. Michael Irvin hasn't caught a pass. Jason Sehorn has been on a man-to-man, covering the whole game, and has done an excellent job.
And those are the blocks that you try to build on if you're thinking about a foundation for the future. You build around the triplets. And the Cowboys trail at the half. Jerry Jones, you saw perhaps a flash then on the sideline already. They're being shut out 20-0. He's talking with Barry Switzer. Switzer was sick yesterday. I talked to him before the game. I asked him how he felt, and he said, I was sick all night. But
he didn't even come yesterday.
No.
And Jerry Jones made a comment to us yesterday that he's been very close with Barry Switzer for a long time, and he said when this season is over, he's going to have a hard call to make. He said he's going to have to make the call, but it's going to be a hard call for him to make.
Of course, he was playing at the University of Arkansas. Jerry was when Barry Switzer was a graduate assistant coach. He coached the linebackers. Jerry was an offensive and defensive lineman. And that kind of association that goes back that far, and the friendship that developed, is going to be something that's hard to say, hey, I have no place for you.
Well, and I think that they're going to have to do it. I mean, the Cowboys are 6-9. Just a couple years ago, they were a Super Bowl team. They were the glamour team in the National Football League, and they've slipped, and they've slipped a long way. And Jerry Jones, I mean, he takes credit for a lot of things. He also takes credit for that.
Yeah.
He knows it's part of him, and he knows that he has to do something. And he knows that he's going to have to make a tough decision. He's going to make a tough decision.
And I don't think he's made up his mind yet.
I think he's made up his mind that he's going to make a tough decision as to who the decision is going to be or how that's going to work. I don't think he knows that yet. I don't expect that Barry Switzer will be the head coach here next year, but I don't think Jerry Jones has decided who will be the head coach here next year.
Eric Pegram downs Deluiso's kickoff in the end zone, and we'll start the second half.
We're going to start the second half with Dave Brown. And Jim Fossel was saying last night that he expects that Dave Brown is going to come along through this. That he had an injury, then Danny Cannell came in and became the starter, and Dave Brown never got his job back. And Dave Brown said that was kind of his nightmare. That he would go through all the bad times with the Giants. They would finally get good, and someone else would be the quarterback. But Jim Fossel said that he hopes he slows down a little and gets in a rhythm today.
And he's gotten better. Well,
there's a loose pickle.
The first thing that happens is the Cowboys recover the exchange from center. Fred Strickland comes out of there with the ball, and the Cowboys get the ball at about the Giant 21-yard line.
And that wasn't the rhythm that Jim Fossel was talking about, and that was the nightmare that Dave Brown probably had. You see the ball, he has his right hand up there underneath the center, underneath Lance Scott, and his left hand, and the ball just went right between his right and left hand.
Almost like he wasn't ready for it. Of course, that's a different center. Emmett gets down inside the 15 to the 14.
Yeah, but those things have to be automatic. I mean, when you've been a quarterback in the league and a center in this league, you know that just has to be automatic. One, that you get your hands up underneath there, and two, that the center gets the ball. The center wants to slap the ball right up against that top hand. And it looks like maybe it didn't get up against the top hand. Maybe it went down by the lower hand. You see, you put the right hand up underneath there, and you want to slap the ball right in the right hand.
That's John Flannery. It was shaken for the Cowboys on that play.
Of course, John Flannery was playing right guard because Larry Allen was moved to left tackle. Nate Newton, the left guard, didn't even suit up today, so George Hageman is playing in his place.
And then Tony Hudson was playing in his place.
And then you know that you talk about the Cowboys and what they were and how far they've fallen, and one of the areas that they've really fallen is in that offensive line.
So that's the setup now as Hageman comes back, and he plays right guard, and Hudson is the left guard.
This is the other area that the Cowboys have fallen in this red zone. I mean, they've been atrocious in this area.
Nicky Sualua. Emmett Smith breaks a tackle and gets down inside the 5, and a Cowboy first down. Rodney Young knocked him out of bounds. Nicky Sualua got a good block in front of Emmett.
And that's what the Cowboys were hoping for. That's what they were hoping that Sualua would be. Here it is, I formation. Here's Emmitt Smith back here. Sualua, the lead blocker. Boom, there's the block you're talking about. That's the one that sprung Emmett loose, and then he was able to bounce to the outside.
First and goal, Cowboys at the 4. Emmitt Smith again, and Emmett is in the end zone. The Cowboys get on the scoreboard with Emmitt Smith. A couple of years ago, we said that it seemed almost every other play.
They used to get down there and just bang it in like that. Of course, the way they got down there this time was the Dave Brown fumble of the snap. They got good field position, and then they took advantage of it.
Emmett's had a bad shoulder, and it looks like he might have stung that again, but he's got the ball.
He's going to sting that shoulder every time he gets hit in this game.
Richie Cunningham for the extra point. It was hit, but it still got through. Somebody got a hand on it. Here's the touchdown.
Yeah, I think the Giants only had 10 men on the field on that touchdown.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Bud Light, if you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. And by 1-800-COLLECT. It's the way we call collect today.
20-7 as the Cowboys take advantage of the Giant turnover. Dave Brown fumbled the exchange. Cowboys recovered, and Emmitt Smith ran it in. Goins' kick goes deep into the end zone. The Giants will down it there. Emmitt Smith scored the touchdown. And here it is.
And the Giants were really confused on defense. I mean, they had like guys running in and guys running out. And then they end up, if you watch all this mess here, guys coming in, going back, coming out. Then when they get up to the line of scrimmage, they had 13 on the field at one time, and then they only ended up with 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on that touchdown with Emmitt Smith, there were only 10 Giant defenders on the field.
And you need them all when Emmett's running like Emmett. This is Rodney Hampton. Out to about the 25. Good pickup.
Yeah, so that was an ugly, whatever Jim Fossil talked about at halftime didn't work too well. They come out and abruptly fumble the snap. And then the Cowboys got the ball, and they go in there, and the Giants only have 10 men in the field on defense. And again, he preaches, you know, being smart and those kinds of things. We just saw Jim Fossil's two sons standing there behind him again. John and Brian. John was the quarterback.
Eric Lane is the fullback for Hampton. And Rodney Hampton lowers the shoulder and picks up a couple. Rodney's not one of those guys, and never has been, that's going to run out of bounds.
Scott Gregg, the right tackle for the Giants, was saying last week that Rodney's a lot like Charles Way. He said that he just runs in the hole, and if you don't make the hole, he makes it anyway. He's not going to pick a hole and find something or slide or anything. He decides that's the hole, and he's going to run there whether there's a hole or not. You know, and you're hip for some party, you may be standing in a hole, and he's going to run right into you or right through you.
Shotgun formation. Tiki Barber in the backfield with Dave Brown, who's taking his time. Brown's pass complete to Amani Toomer. Good throw.
It was pretty good by Dave Brown, again getting in that shotgun, and then he got a little pressure, so he got outside. He escapes outside to the right, which gives Amani Toomer some time to work against that zone defense. See, he starts to run that option. He starts to the outside, then he goes to the inside, and Dave Brown really had to sneak that thing in there.
Yeah.
That was what you call a basic tight coverage.
Sneaky patience. Brown back to throw again and going deep. Incomplete. No flag. Kevin Mathis covering Kevin Alexander.
Yeah, you know, when you see, you know, the position that Deion Sanders usually plays, and he's not there, and you have a rookie out there, Kevin Mathis, that's kind of the area. If you're going to get a deep one or you're going to go for a big one, first down is a good down to do it on, and then going against the rookie free agent starter who's replacing Deion Sanders is also a pretty good place to go.
And a very small replacement is Kevin Mathis. 3 wide receivers this time for Dave Brown. The clock running down to 1 second. They did get it off in time. Brown fires, complete to Aaron Pierce. Incomplete to Aaron Pierce. And the Giants will have to punt.
You know, we were talking about how Danny Cannell in the first half looked so comfortable in there, both under the center, but Dave Brown doesn't look comfortable.
No.
Remember the first snap he didn't get? Watch this one here. I mean, he darn near doesn't get this snap. He had to get that on the second flop in there.
Double clutch.
Yeah, so that's something that, 1, should never happen, but 2, if it does happen between series, you ought to stand over there on the sideline and get it straightened out.
And I would imagine they will.
When you're a pro, that shouldn't happen.
Shotgun formation. Brown back to throw. Has time, throws high. That one got away from him. Alexander, the intended receiver. You can see that one take off the minute he let it go.
Yeah, and you don't know whether he wanted it to take off or not, because he was throwing into double coverage, and that could have been one of those things. We talked about how Danny Cannell, if you don't have something open, just throw it away. Dave Brown could have been throwing that one away because there was double coverage over there.
Kevin Mathis back deep for the Cowboys. Short kick. Mathis will have a chance with this one. Got away from one. Gets out to about the 32-yard line. And Emmitt Smith comes back.
These are the 2 guys that can go right here when the ball is kicked. Now we're going to watch this one here, David Patton, and we're going to watch what happens to one of those guys. Here's a starting wide receiver for the Giants, and on punt coverage, he has to do this. Now he has to get down the field, and they're going to put 2 guys on him. And like I say, I don't think for those guys anymore, Pat, they have any rules at all.
Nope.
I think those 2 can get on that one and do whatever they want to him on punt coverage.
Here's Aikman back to throw. Incomplete. A flag on the play. Was intended for Michael Irvin. Pass interference.
Number 41 on the defense. That's the first down.
Conrad Hamilton.
In this half, Conrad Hamilton is out here playing on Michael Irvin. And the whole first half, Jason Sehorn played against him. You see what Hamilton did. He just got there before the ball did.
Yep.
And again, they have to time that. You have to get your hand in there exactly when the ball gets there.
Emmett Smith straight ahead to midfield. Got a couple of yards.
Now that they got Conrad Hamilton out there and Jason Sehorn off the field, this would be a pretty good time to get the ball to Michael Irvin. You know, because they didn't have any success against Jason Sehorn. And again, Jason Sehorn had man-to-man. Sometimes he had a little help, but he did an excellent job in this first half. And now in the second half, they've assigned that job to Conrad Hamilton.
Herschel Walker in the backfield with Emmett Smith.
It's gone.
Aikman going deep. Incomplete. Anthony Miller, the intended target. No flags this time, and Aikman watches from the sitting position.
You know, and he knows, because that's the thing that you look for. You know, you look for this. You're going to get the blitz, and you're getting the blitz coming off the corner, and that means that you have man-to-man out there. So when you get man-to-man, you see the guy who was supposed to be covering, he blitzes, and now it's going to be against that safety. You want to get it out there. You see what's happening. You see the guy coming. You know that you have to have that wide receiver open because the safety has to get over there and get him, and you don't get the ball to him.
3rd and 8, and Irvin comes out wide to the left. Aikman retreats. Pass is incomplete. Stepford Williams, the target, overran it. Percy Ellsworth, the defender nearest.
Ellsworth was the defender on the last play also, and this is a balancing act that Jim Fossil was talking about, that he wants to rest some players, play some backup players, but also win the game.
Yeah, they'd like to get to 10 wins. They'd like to be a champion, as you said in the beginning, a champion rolling in with some momentum going. Monty Toomer lets the kick bounce, and it is down at about the 16. Jason Garrett, the word of encouragement to Troy.
You know, when in the second half, the Giants put in Dave Brown at quarterback, but they also put in Brian Stoltenberg at center. So you not only have a new quarterback, but you have a new center in there.
And in all likelihood, they haven't worked together very much. Eric Lane. And the result of having new quarterback, new center, John?
Well, again, you know that Dave Brown is a 6-year veteran. Stoltenberg is a 2nd-year guy, but in pro football, that shouldn't happen.
No.
I mean, that, you know, the snap should be an automatic thing, and you should work on that all the time. You ought to practice it. I mean, it should be as automatic as it can be, and that's on any level. I mean, that goes back to high school. That has to be automatic. Junior college, every level, the snap from the center to the quarterback has to be automatic.
Giants lead 20-7. That's Rodney Hampton, who got a couple.
But the Giants have really had a problem at center this year. You remember when Brian Williams went out, and Stoltenberg
They got another problem.
Is probably their 6th or 7th man that has played that position for the New York Football Giants this year.
There's Lance Scott, number 53, who had been playing there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Jim Fossil was talking about, that he told his team that we are going to take some guys out, but if we do take you out, stay ready, because you may have to go back in.
And Scott may have to re-enter the contest. 20-7, Giants lead. 20-7, the Cowboys lead the Giants. Lance Scott is back playing center now as Dave Brown goes in the shotgun. Brown hits Amani Toomer. Right now for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
At Jeff Hostetler, one of the few mistakes he's made today, trying to squeeze this one in. Troy Vincent picks it off for the Eagles. Eagles capitalize with a 33-yard field goal by Chris Bonio. Make it 28-17. Washington needs to win. Vikings and Lions lost. But the Vikings are ahead comfortably right now, back-to-back. And John.
20-7. The Giants over the Cowboys. And here is Rodney Hampton. Hampton outside the 30 to about the 32, stopped by Fred Strickland.
You know, the thing that Rodney Hampton still has, Pat, is you see him finish off that run. That you know that usually when you're a running back, that the defense is going to come up, and as a tackler comes up to you, he's going to explode into you. So the thing that you can do when you finish off a run is you explode into that guy that's going to explode into you. Now watch Rodney Hampton. You see the jolt that he got
Lowered the shoulder.
Yeah, that tackler's helmet just went whap. The next thing it hit was the back of his neck.
Brown looking for someone to throw to. Can't find him. And down he goes. At about the 30, lost about a yard.
You know, it just shows how important that, you know, that starting quarterback is, and when Danny Cannell was in there, and you know, and how long they worked together and the whole thing. Then you start, you know, changing center, you start changing quarterback, you start changing an offensive line, you change your receivers, and it's hard really to play offensive football that way, to be honest with you.
Tampa Bay 31-7 over the Bears, and it looks like they're coming in with some momentum.
Right, and it looks like they'll also be a host. They will host a wild card game along with the Giants next weekend.
Here's Dave Brown. Down he goes. The rush by Kavika Pittman.
Again, these are the things that we talk about. You know, you change offense, and then the defense and these guys just don't work together. And this is a tough thing. You know, you get them in, and you get them spread out, and they just don't stay with their block.
Yep.
Kavika Pittman just went right by Scott Gregg. He got him going up the field, and then just came right underneath him. But as a coach, that's what you always worry about. You know, you want to change, you want to let guys play, you want to get guys out of there, but then you worry about this happening.
Kevin Mathis back deep for Brad Maynard's punt. Flag on the play as Maynard gets it to Mathis, and Mathis has got some room. 2 flags on the play. Mathis down the sideline, can't stay in bounds, gets knocked out of bounds at about the 11.5, but there are 2 penalty markers down on the play.
Yeah, one was early before the return, and the other one was later or during the return. Looks like all players involved agree that it's against the Cowboys. As the Cowboys are walking back to this side of the field, the Giants are all pointing to that end of the field. That was a heck of a return.
Yeah.
That was a 59-yard return.
One of the officials who had dropped his beanbag back at the 30-yard line picked it up and started to walk away with it, and then...
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, because the beanbag marks the spot where he caught the ball.
Bernie Kukar.
At number 79 right there, you know who he is. That's Aaron Pointer.
Of
the brother of the Pointer sisters.
I seemed like I heard that before.
Yeah, Aaron Pointer.
Holding against Dallas.
2 of them against Dallas. Like I said, one was before and one was during the return. Because the one I saw right out here in front about the 30, and then the other one is at the other 40.
So they're moving them back. And Emmitt Smith and the Cowboy offensive unit back on the field.
Illegal use of hands, number 42 on the receiving team. That penalty is accepted.
That's Charlie Williams.
Holding on the receiving team. 83, that penalty is declined.
That's Anthony Miller.
Here's the one on Charlie Williams that they did accept, and you can see that he just grabs and he keeps a hold of Patton all the way down the field.
Pretty good hook on his.
In fact, it's hard to read Patton. It looks like Patton.
Pat Summerall with John Madden at Texas Stadium. And happy holidays to all of you. It has not been a happy season for the Dallas Cowboys. And the score is 20-7 against them now with 6:40 left in the third. Herschel Walker in motion left, and Aikman back to throw it. Drops it out to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt makes 1 man miss, 2 men miss, 3 men miss, and Emmitt finally goes out of bounds in front of the Cowboy bench. That resembles something we saw a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and Emmitt Smith must have decided at halftime that, if we're going to go out, let's make this last one a good one. He came out and he, scored the touchdown, and then, like you say, this is Emmitt Smith of old. Those are some poor Giant tackling, which the Giants didn't do in the first half. They didn't miss tackles like that.
That's right.
I mean, there's a missed tackle right there by Hamilton. There's another missed tackle. Then there's going to be another missed tackle right here. About 5 guys missed Emmitt Smith on that.
Here's Aikman, fakes to Smith and throws to Irvin, incomplete. Thomas Randolph on the coverage.
Whoever they put on Michael Irvin's doing a good job.
Yeah.
These are the NFC Pro Bowl selections from the Cowboys. Eric Williams, the tackle we've been watching today. Deion Sanders is in there. There's the Giants, Michael Strahan and Jesse Armstead.
Might not agree with all those selections. I don't know if Deion Sanders is going to play or not because he got the broken rib.
Yeah, I mean, you never do agree on them. You can always think of someone that should go.
Fumble. The ball bounced all the way into the secondary. And it appears the Giants have it back.
Well, we talked about how Dave Brown had trouble with the snap, a couple snacks, and then Troy Aikman comes up there with a center that he's been playing all year with.
Percy Ellsworth made the recovery.
Barry Switzer says he doesn't want to make his last one like this one. But again, the ball, I don't know if it got up there or not.
No, either.
We talk about how that shouldn't happen. I mean, that's just sloppy and inexcusable. I mean, those things on any level. I mean, you go all the way back. I went back to high school. After I go back to Pop Warner, that's automatic. And getting the ball from the center up to the quarterback cannot be a big thing.
It doesn't
in the 16th regular season game.
It doesn't seem that it should be that complicated. Eric Pegram is the ball carrier, and he is taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Nate Helmsley.
Nate Helmsley is one of those guys that Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator, was telling us about yesterday. That he said Helmsley is one of these guys that isn't big enough. I mean, he's only like 6 foot and 215 pounds. Out of Syracuse, he said he's really not big enough, but the guy can really move. He can really run.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete, and he said, I'd like to see him play and see what he can do when we get him in a game.
Dave Brown hit just as he lets it go, and the pass is complete to Kevin Alexander. Brown.
How in the heck on either end of that thing that worked? How Dave Brown got it out on his end, and how he got it into Kevin Alexander.
He got up a little askew.
I know it. Well, he was knocked askew. I mean, he didn't put himself askew. He's knocked askew from that backside, getting